let's start with XRP. And I'm going to zoom out and then zoom in. And it just, here's my daily chart. Here's the wedge. I've adjusted some of the lines on here. I was doing a broadening wedge out here, a blowhorn, and I decided to amplify just the wedge part of it more, because both were in play. So I'm looking at this, especially because of this pump. It's come up and hit the top of this, yeah. So a couple of things I'm noticing here. Generally, there's 3 touches to the top, 3 touches to the bottom. So look, you break in, you don't count the first one up here. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and again potentially a 5 and a 6. Now, why else would I see here a 5 and a 6? Is if you look here, here's the bottom of the previous bull market, yeah, and you get 3 levels up. So look, there's one level. Here's a second level, and then here's the third level. So 3 up. Okay, just take them out of the way now, just to clear it out a little bit. Now here's 3 down. Well, 2 down actually. Here's 1. This is my argument for there's another drop down, yeah? And here's 2. So we've only had 2 levels down. Okay? And if you look at this level, this drop here, and you put the fib on it, the correction here, from the top to the bottom, so measuring from bottom to top back up, it's a 786. It broke the 702, nearly hit a 786 as a correction. When you go to here, you've got the drop down. Now look at this box here, because this is the transition zone, and I'm being asking myself is, if you look at it here, here's the second level coming up, tops out, and breaks through. So tops out twice, but a lot more touches at this level here than this level. Okay, you got the breakout here. Look, it breaks through this here to the bottom, and then bottom, bottom, bottom. So look, the touches on the bottom line here on this level here is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the breakthrough. So this is one level here. Now this is the top level, and this seems like the second level, as opposed to it being up here. So 1 level and then 2 level. This seems like the mid space. Is when we get the next bull market, we're going to have to break through this, yeah. But for now, you got spike throughs. So potentially we could have another leg up here before we come back down. But I'll talk about that in a moment, yeah. So I'm just giving you the general overview. So, and then it seems like we could have another level that would break down, yeah, potentially. It seems like we'll have 1, 2, 3. Now, I could be completely wrong there, but it seems like that. We might be coming up and doing an arc in this place here, and then we break out. So I'm going to continue on with my argument for the down for now. So this is the same pattern here, and here's the arc as it is, yeah. Now, it may come down here, but at the moment it's here. So to me, this looks like a skyline. First spike, resistance peak, second spike, mid-range high that has its lift, its pump before its dump, and coming down for third spike. So that we could have that there, third spike, and then we play this out here, yeah. And if that was the case, we'd end up bringing this down here, and we'd have our 2 ways. We'd have this one up for mountain peak 2, and then off we go, yeah. So that's that there. If it's not this, if it's not what I'm saying here, well then this still has to be first spike and resistance peak, because we're looking at this big arc here, yeah. So if this is resistance peak and this is the drop, this can't be mid-range high while first drop is below mid-range high. It just never happens. It's just not possible. It doesn't happen. So this is why I'm thinking that this is mid-range high, is a blow off top for a drop down. Is I would look at the arcs all the time, and that's what I would see. This is just on a bigger scale. So we'll see. We'll see. So so potentially we could be looking at 2 touches to the top, 2 touches to the bottom, and we have one more touch to the bottom, and we're coming down, and we're maybe hitting 25, maybe hitting 23, possibly with a spike through. We could be hitting somewhere around here, yeah. And that would be the bottom. There's the third top touch there, and then we break up. Possibly. When I zoom in, now I'm going to zoom in more closely. I'm showing you that potential, yeah. When I zoom in, is here we are on this impulse. So we've got this impulse going now. We may have one more blow off to the top because now this is the challenge with this, is if this is the skyline, which I believe it is, when you put the fib on this to there, there's the 786. It's already indicating that it's topped out, and that we're getting rejected off this resistance line here on the wedge, yeah. But if I wanted to do another pump, it could pump up, and we could be heading up to the mid 60s. If that was the case, then I might have to move skyline up to here. And I originally did have it up. There. If that was the case, is then we're looking at a 786 being 64, and this is 3, this is 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. We might get a blow off top up to 64, yeah? Now the reason why I moved it down, is because as I was showing you here, this space here is one level, 2 level, this is the top of it, and then 3 levels on the way up. But on the way down, this seems to be the bottom of the first level here. So now this is the final peak in this level before it drops. So this is why I'm calling this skyline, and this seems to match mountain peak. So we'll see if there's going to be another push up, yeah. But it's still going to have to come down and correct, and it does look to me like it's going to come down here and do another touch. But again, I could be wrong. So at the moment, is when you look at the wedge, the ascending wedge it's in, is you can see it peaked at the moment. It's been going sideways along this level of the wedge, the center line. It broke the center line there today, and it came down onto the bottom line here. So now you can see a back test, and then I reckon it's going to break through this, probably do another back test before it heads on down. And if this is the top, the correction for this would be around, sorry, there's the bottom there, 1, 2. The correction for this would be around, let's say the golden pocket from 39.74 to 36.23. So essentially 40 to 60. If it was going to do a 3, a 4, and then a 5, is it may bounce off this and head on up. So we could be hitting the 382, might even be hitting the 0.5 and then heading on up. So we'll hit this level here and then bounce on up for one more push. So we're going to have a look at that in the MAs in a moment, yeah. So now here is the support and resistance lines. So now just locally, see this red line here? It's a 4-hour support and resistance. You see it broke through, came back in, and then this is a 4-hour. This is a 4-hour resistance and support line as well. So it's been going sideways. It's been going sideways in this space. There you go. So you can see it came back into this space. So wick through, bouncing along here, is touching off this one. Now finally breaking through this one. And again, if it continues down, the next level down will be 43.95. So 44. Again, as I was saying, may get a bounce off that and head on up. If it breaks through this, then it looks like the next level down on the 4-hour is 37.86. Now we're getting closer to where we're in the golden pocket to the 786. We're getting closer to the full correction here. Yeah. So I think the test of this movement at the moment is that it doesn't break back into the 48.66, and that when it comes down to the 44, is that again probably another test, and it breaks through this. To me, it looks like then it's going for its full correction. So if you can see it breaking 44 and moving on down, it looks like it's in for its full correction, and there is no further lift up in this impulse anyway. Yeah. So now I'm gonna go onto this here. Okay. Now I'll actually point this out because I've got this here now. I'll point this out first. This is the EMAs, and on the left here is the weekly, and look where the weekly broke. Now the daily is the same. It crossed over here, yeah, at 81.52. So the daily is the same. There you go. Well, 78.27. The weekly broke first, but around the same space, yeah. And there's always a pattern here. Happens a lot, is when it breaks, it drops down. Price action goes, once it's completed its initial drop, it comes back up and it tests the 55. So you can see on the weekly, it's after coming up and testing the 55 here. So now the question is that is it the test? And if it fails it, it's going to push down a further time, because this is the first push, the back test, and then the second push. It always back tests, but again, it could break it and then head on up. So for sure that could happen. Now, if you go over to the right here, this is the 2-week. So while the weekly broke at 82 or so, so the weekly broke here, is this drop down has been the weekly drop and the back test, but while that was going on, the 2-week has crossed over. So now you can see the 20 and the 55 here is price action is also wicked up to the 20 on the 2-week. So this is also applying a bit of pressure down. So there's a little sign of continuation here. If this was the 5 and 15, it's something similar, which is what I'm going to flick onto now to zoom into the shorter time frame. So I'll put this back on the 5. Top left, I'm going to put back on the 5 minute. And we're just going to have a look at more locally what's going on now, just to get a read of it, yeah. And again, look, top left, there's the 5 after doing a nice big spill, all the way down, and look, it's after coming up, back testing the VWAP, and look at the 5, the 20 here, the white one hitting the 55, and it looks like it's coming for reverse. It's getting turned at the 5. Over on the top right is the 15 minute. Is again, you can see it's looking to curl down. Looks like it's going to continue pushing down. Bottom left is the half hour. So that the half hour. Oh no, that's the 2-week. I got to turn that into the half hour now. Hang on. But you can see the half hour is nearly mimicking the 2-week. Is look, price actions come up and tested the VWAP and the 20 here. So now when this spills, the half hour, the 20's already crossed over. Now the 20 looks like it could cross over the VWAP here, which again, that's indicating a bigger push down. If that follows through, there's going to be a stronger push down. And then equally on the far right is the hour. Look at the hour, 1, 2, 3, 4 hours ago, the hour crossed over. So I was saying to you a few days ago that we need to watch this. For the correction here, we want to see the 15 break. But then we want to get a rejection from it, push down. There's the half hour breaking. And if we see the hour break, and if the hour can break and get its full push in, is that tells me that there's it potentially is, the full correction is going to come in when you start to see the hour break. So let's see if this can push down further. And most likely what's going to happen, I could be wrong, so there's still tests going on here, but most likely what's going to happen is there's a push down, and then another back test. It'll come down, and then there'll be another back test of the hour, and the 55 on the hour will be tested. And if that gets rejected, then we'll be coming down for a bigger push again. Yeah. So, and that's where it just takes patience to just go through it all. Yeah. So I think that's getting played out here. Now this one here, I'm going to talk about this now for the first time. This is a PMAR and PMARP. It's a price moving average ratio percentile. Is as an indicator. I've been watching it for a while now, and it actually works very well. So this white line here is the 20 MA, 20, I think it's 20 EMA. Let me just double check again. 20 SMA, and this colored line is a 20 VWMA. Okay, so let me explain it nice and simply for you. Yeah, is look at this price action here, and then watch this. So they're matching. So when I'm pointing at one, it points at the other. So here's the bottom. There on the left, there's the bottom on the right. So you've got the pump, the first pump, and the first pump takes it up into the red. It takes it up into the red. So one of these lines, these red lines, these thick red lines, are indicating continuation. So you get the pump, pump, pump. Now they're indicating continuation, but look, there's a correction. So those red lines tell you that even though it's coming into a correction, the red lines are saying it's going to keep pumping. So here's a correction, but yet it keeps pumping. So look, it pumps up again on the left, pumps up. Look, it pumps up again. We're back up in the red on the indicator, but look, there's the red line again. So the red line tells you that, look, it's coming down for another correction, but it's also indicating continuation. So it comes down and price action, and then it pumps up. And it pumps up, and again, it does a big pump. So you can see as this hits the top, it's staying at the top, and the red line stays red because it's telling you it's for continuation. It tops out. Look, it turns down. And slowly, slowly, the white line is coming up as the colored line is going up and down. Yeah. So short term and long term, different MAs. Yeah. So now we're going through the consolidation at the top. The sideways is now, look, the white line is topped out, and now you can start to see the spill. So now look, the white line, the 20 SMA is coming down, while the VWMA is after doing a big spill. So that's after the 4 hours after bottoming out here. Okay. So now I'm wondering if a blue line will appear for continuation. And why do I think there's continuation? Because look, the white line, the 20 SMA still has all this trip to do. So until the 20 SMA starts to get down here, I don't think the 4 hour is finished with its dropping. So we'll probably see a little lift here, and then a drop down. And let's see if a blue line appears. Yeah. So that's one of my new indicators that I'm following, and it's very good. It's very good for reading it. I'm still testing it though, but it's as it stands, it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. Okay, so let me go back to something simple now. Yeah, let's zoom into. It's actually this one. Let's zoom into here. Trade-wise. Actually, I didn't do the MAs, yeah. So I'll briefly do the MAs. On the 4 hour here, as you can see, bottom left is there was a bearish divergence here. So a bearish divergence here. So again, this told me that this is the three touches to the top. This is the final touch. There's bearish divergence, is that this is the lift that's the pump before the dump, and again we're having a breakthrough. And you can see the sign of reversal on the 4 hour is when the 5 breaks the 10. Okay, now the 5 broke the 10, now the 5 broke the 10 and the 20, and now we're breaking through the 20 EMA. So that's a very clear sign that there's a strong push down. To me, it indicates it's going to go for a deeper correction than a 3, a 4, and then a 5. But I could be wrong. So breaking the 50, the 55, and the 50 here at 44. So breaking that is really going to give me my answer. Yeah. When I look at the 12 hour, I'm going to keep the MA short here. Yeah. When I look at the 12 hour, it took a long time, but the 5 MA and the 12 hours turned down. The VWAP, but equally now the 5 MA and the 12 hours turned down. The stock RSI on the bottom second on the right, the stock RSI is after breaking back in from oversold. Yeah, and equally the RSI is broken in. So that's a good indication for a push down. When I look at the daily, is the nice sharp turn down on the VWAP, but the 5 hasn't turned down yet. So again, this is why I'm leaving it out there. Is price action could come down to the 10, again around the 43.75, again back around the 44 mark. It could come down to here, but if tomorrow the 5 MA on the daily turns down tomorrow, again that's a strong indication that we're heading down, and there's no other blow off top. Yeah. You can see the bottom left is, you can see the RSI is after coming back into the overbought. Yeah, but the stock hasn't. Second on bottom right, the stock hasn't yet. So it'd be nice to see the stock come back in. Yeah. Now if I just go through the couple of the days just for a second, you see the 2-day here, and again the VWAP was turned down. But it'd be great to see that 5 turn down. And if I'm right about this is the blow off top of the macro mid-range high, is these will start to turn, because this is going to break down and start to head below here. Yeah, might do a little retrace here and head below. Yeah. So the 3-day is again just the VWAP. The 5 is quite a distance away. And I think the 4-day was the one that turned yesterday. Yeah, the 4-day are turned this morning. Yeah, so there's the 4-day, and again there's the VWAP, and you can see it's getting rejected at the 55 and the 50. The blue is the 55 EMA, and the green is the 50 MA. Yeah, so getting a rejection there. So yeah, so it's, and then a sharp turn down on the RSI. Yeah, so that's it. Tomorrow, the 5-day turns. Tomorrow, the 5-day turns on the 28th. Okay, the 5 days not turned tomorrow. Tomorrow is 27th, the day after. Yeah. If things hold the way they hold, look, you can see the rejection here, the 200 and the 50s. Equally, as it stands, this is a really good rejection candle. Very strong rejection candle. As it stands, if it stays like that, if it comes down lower, even better. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. And also the RSI, the 5-day is looking like it's topping out here. Okay, so now what about a trade? What's the trade? What's the trade to do? If I go in to the 1 hour, okay, let me just have a look. Is the 1 hour, second on the right at the bottom, the stock, you can see that it's bottomed out here and it's coming back up for a breather, and equally the RSI is coming back up for a breather. Excuse me, I'm not sure whether it's going to get all the way back to the top or not. You can see here that it broke through the 100, the 144, and this is the pi cycle 111. Broke through, is doing a back test at the moment. Yeah, you can see that the white, the 20 EMA crossed over the 55. So you can see it's doing a bit of a back test, and there's a bit of a rejection going on at the moment. So we may get a little bit more of a lift on this stock, and then it turns back down. If I check the 4 hour. The 4 hours pretty deep as well. Yeah. Okay, so now the 4 hours already done. It's dropped. This little lift here can be deceiving, because it's like, look, it's done this big drop and this little lift. This small movement, the rest of this can be an enormous drop. Just from experience, this here can take it all the way to the bottom before it levels out. It's just an odd thing about the stock, yeah. And then the RSI here is the RSI could come all the way to the bottom, do a back test, do a bullish divergence, which is what I'm expecting. Like here, I'm expecting a bullish divergence at the bottom of this, and this will still be most likely at the bottom, yeah. Okay, if we look at the 3 hour, take the 3 hour, okay, look at the 2 hour. There's the 2 hour in the oversold. 1 hour. What I'm looking for now is just a position for an entry. Yeah, there's the half hour coming up. Is quite possible the half hour will want to come all the way to the top. Yeah, so you can see here there may be one more push up here to the 200 at 48.52. Maybe I could be wrong. I'm just going to look at the 15 minute and see how the 15 minutes doing. Okay, the 15 minutes already at the top here. Yeah, it doesn't mean I can't go a little bit more. And then the 5 minutes all the way back at the bottom again. Okay, so now that tells me potentially is the 5 might come up and do another little push here. Is we've got maybe a little impulse going on here, yeah. Is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, yeah. This here, something like that. It may want to come up and hit off the 200 again at 48.85, yeah. Is if you see that happening, price action coming up and hitting 48.85, let's put that on the 15. There's the 15. Okay, and again back up to the 200 on the 15 or the 144. A little break through the VWAP. If we put it on the half hour, and again there's the 50 and the 100, the 55 there even. And then the hour. Okay, so it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see, like this 5 EMA here is holding at the moment. The hour does look spilly. The hour looks like it could continue down again and not go up here, but it may do. So if you see price action getting back up to 48.85. Okay, so let me put a tag thing in here. Make this bigger. 48.85 or so. If you see price action getting back up there and then you start to see it getting rejected, there's a great opportunity for a short. Is if price action is going to get rejected here and push through, if you see it pushing through, it's probably going to get a bounce off the 382. It's probably going to get a bounce off this. It'll come back and back test. It'll come back and back test this wedge, yeah. It might be a much bigger spill. It might be get this boom all the way down here, and it'll come back and back test. So basically what I'm trying to say is that if it comes up to 48.87 or so, there's a great opportunity for a short to go in on it. Is if it breaks through the support line of the wedge here, is whether it goes short here and retests or long here and back tests, it's going to back test this wedge. When you see it back test a wedge and be rejected from it, there's another great short opportunity. You might have to wait a few hours for this, but there will be a good short opportunity there as well. Yeah. So look for both of those. Look for both of those patterns. Yeah. And again, is a target for the short. I think the target for the short, I should already have there. The target for the short, we're looking at a range between, say, 40 and 36. Okay, So entry point around 48.80 to 47.50, depending on how price action behaves here, and then target of 39.74 to 36.23. So basically 40 to 36. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at. Is this could be a day trade from here, from 48 to 41. It would be fantastic, but I'm just not sure how this is going to behave. I do know that when this starts to if it comes up here and pushes down, it's coming down for a stronger push. Well, actually, I've given my answer there. Is if you see this breaking the channel here again, is there could be also a chance to go short here and follow that bigger push down. But I'm just not so sure of it. So I'd rather wait. If it comes up here, it really is giving me a higher place to enter. So even if the push down is short, it's a good trade. Is if it pushes from here, let it do its thing, let it back test, and then there's your entry where you got the back test, when you see it getting rejected, now go in for that bigger push down. So there, that's what I'm thinking there. So the two options I'm given are safer than jumping in on this one. But you can watch it. What are you going to watch for? Is if you watch, and to be honest, it's already happening a little bit on the 5 minute. The rejection is happening on the 5 minute. Yeah. Yeah. It does look like it's already pushing down. Yeah. Yeah. I'll go back to what I said earlier on. I'll stand with what I said. Is if it comes up, there's the short. If it breaks through, is potentially wait for the back test of the wedge, and then there's your entry point coming down. Yeah. Okay. So that's me for today. I know I talked on a little bit, but I wanted to zoom out and give a bit of the bigger picture, because we are coming up to a bigger move, and the question is it going up or is it going down? Yeah. And from XRP's point of view, XRP has already done a fair bit of a pump. It seems like it needs to move into a correction now. Yeah. And even if it pumps up a little bit more, it will still need to do a correction on this. Yeah. Even if it's a shallow one, even if it wanted to come down and do a 42 or a 43 on the bigger pump, it still needs to do that. Yeah. So there you go. So enjoy the rest of your day. Good luck trading, and I'll chat to you tomorrow.